Hello, this is Paul Nelson with Western Sport Floors. I am in Ramsey, Montana. This is an older school facility. All they have in this building is high voltage power. It's been here for a while. So in order to run on high voltage power, we're gonna have to rewire our sanders from low voltage, which is what we normally run, to the high voltage power that this facility has. Here's how that's done. First thing that we're gonna do, I'm gonna open up this box. Let's zoom the camera in here real close to this diagram right here. And it's gonna give us directions on low voltage and high voltage. Okay, so this isn't strictly necessary, but it does help to keep track of which your hot lines are. And we're just making a note on our cover plate here that for low voltage, the 2 and the 8 line is connected to white, the 1 and the 7 to black, and the 3 and the 9 to red. So we come back to our plate here, and you can see that the hot lines are to be connected to 2 and 8, 1 and 7, and 3 and 9. We're keeping track of them. And then when we go to high voltage, which was over here, the hot lines connect to 1, 2, and 3. And so we're gonna make sure that we maintain this same connection, 1 to black, 2 to white, 3 to red, so that hopefully our rotation stays the same. Okay, so each and every one of these wires inside the motor itself has a number that correlates to it. Now these they've gotten hot and they're dusty, but just as an example, this blue wire is a number 1. And so by determining the numbers on these motor wires, that's going to determine how we wire this thing up. Now we're done. We have wired a hot wire to wire number 1, a hot wire to wire number 2, and a hot line to wire number 3. Then we've connected the 6 and the 9, the 5 and the 8, and the 4 and the 7. We have no unaccounted for wires in our box, and so this machine has now been successfully rewired to high voltage. Now we got to go and rewire the rider as well. All these floor mat riders have a plate on one side. Take that plate off. The reason for the plate is that allows you to access that rider motor wiring harness. And that's what we're going to work on next. Okay, so let's bring the camera in here. We've taken off this access panel, taken off the electrical cover off of the motor, and I had to take the top access panel off. Now I get at the actual plate here, and even though this is a different motor, you can still see that line 1 goes with 1 and 7, hot line 2 with 2 and 8, hot line, and that's low voltage. It's in other words, it's exactly the same, even with a different motor. Okay, so we successfully got our machines rewired for high voltage. Got them all put back together. We rewired both of these motors, as well as the motor inside the rider itself. We come all the way around here and look at our readouts. We're showing 495, this one's 498 amps of power coming into our handles. The machines will run fabulously. Now, that's how you rewire these machines to run on high voltage. If your facility only has high voltage, your only other option is to go rent a generator. Some final thoughts. We just finished up with our little gym that we had to rewire our sanders to high voltage. So, of course, now what we have to do before we go to the next job is rewire these sanders to low voltage. If you bring the camera up here, just want to point out, right it down here, I had an hour meter that we put on these machines to kind of give us an idea of how many hours we had on the machines for maintenance purposes. And obviously, we also burned up our hour meter. So it's been a couple of years since we've used high voltage on these machines. And I need to go back through and make sure that our hour meters will tolerate the high voltage, or that I disconnect them before we hook up to high voltage. I hope we at least successfully demonstrated that we do have the ability to rewire these machines to high voltage, and they do run really well at high voltage. Western Sport Floors, Wyoming Wood Floors. This is Paul Nelson. You make it a great day.